guys, welcome back to our Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another First Division show, we'll call it this week, because we're going to go through the games last Friday and Saturday and give our predictions for the games on Friday coming. So it's a review and a preview, more or less. Of the Keith, we'll start off with Cork City and Wexford at Turner's Cross. It obviously finished Cork City 1, Wexford 1. And, Cork City will be disappointed with this one. I was talking to Gavin and he said it was arguably their worst performance of the season. They went in front on 23, thanks to Kevin O'Connor. Davis equalised for for Wexford. I don't know where Derry came to my head there. Derry mad, maybe. Davis at 48 minutes. They're not in the first division yet. So anyway, played it 1-1. And look, it's a great point for Wexford. It keeps them only a couple of points behind Treaty in the table. And just disappointing enough for Cork, because they're in a position where Galway are relentless at the moment, that Cork feel like they probably have to keep winning. But interesting now, because they're behind Galway in the league.
Yeah. But like you mentioned, Galway were relentless. Like Cork were relentless for a lot of their games this season, so they just kept winning and winning. Credit to Wexford. Like everyone was expecting them to go down there and get thumped, and I was one of them. Like last week, I said to you, I think 4-0 Cork. So like good result, and for them to hold on, like I'm sure Cork battered the goal down towards the end of the game. But you're right in what you say. Wexford or Cork need to get wins, however they get wins, because it seems Galway are going to just steamroll teams, and eventually, if they do, and Cork can't stay in their coattails, then they'll be league champions.
Yeah, I suppose from Wexford's point of view, it's interesting as well that we were talking about this a few weeks ago, just in our heads kind of, but Ian Ryan was actually linked to the Waterford job. Now, Wexford have come out with a statement to suggest that Ian Ryan's fully committed to the job in hand at Wexford, which would suggest they had a discussion with Ian Ryan and he's staying. So two things, huge coup for Wexford, and I suppose no surprise that Waterford were interested in him, really. He's a young manager and he's done very well at Wexford, having coached well at UCD before.
Yeah, it's a big statement from Wexford, because Wexford have had different coaches over the years, and if a bigger club comes for you, you kind of say to yourself, "Oh, maybe I'll take the risk," But young coach, so is Ian Morris. So Waterford seems to be a poison chalice for some coaches. So he's probably seen what has happened there, and I don't know what's gone on in the background or whatever, but he's probably saying, no, I'm safe here enough at Wexford. I'm trying to build something. So kudos to him for turning it down.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with all those comments. So you've taken anything I wanted to say out. So there you go. Galway United 3 at Lone Mill at AMDC Park. Young Murphy on 54. Dave Hurley penalty on 81. And Manning after 90. And no goal for Stephen Walsh. Incredible scenes. Brilliant result for Galway again. I know people will say you'd expect them to be that lone, but that lone almost through and should have got something out of Cork the week before. And, they're at the bottom of the table on 2 points still. What can you say there? But Galway at this minute in time are relentless. And now suddenly they're 2 points out of Cork. And now the test is with Cork, because, Galway have been chasing them for most of the season. Yes, they've been close, but they've been chasing. Now it'll be interesting to see with the shoe and the other foot how that'll work out. But great win for Galway, and they're flying. And their goal difference now, they're only 4 goals behind now, which is huge as well.
Yeah, they've hit the ball. They've hit the net a couple of times. I think it was 2 4-0s in a row. Now it's 3-0. Yeah. So they certainly are catching up, and it is a surprise Stephen Walsh didn't score. But
it's graceful.
We've said it over and over again. They seem to be firing from all over the pitch, so they won't. Stephen Walsh won't mind if other people are putting the ball in the net. Great win, puts them top. And will they last it out from here? I think they will, Keith. I think they're very strong, and they've had a couple of years in the first division, and Caulfield, the first year he obviously brought them to the playoffs after only half a season. Then last season he was chasing Shelbourne. I think they ended up 8 points off or 7 points off, and look, I think Caulfield has to go up this season. If not, the owners may look at it and say, is this working out? So he'd be determined to get them up. But a fantastic win. Athlone, on the other hand, Keith, they've still 2 points. I mean, still
What do you
no
say at
manager.
this stage? It's very difficult to talk about them at this minute in time, isn't it?
Yeah, like they've some good players in that team. It's about, I don't know, getting a manager in that can get the best out of them, I suppose. So I mean, they go to Bray, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. But they go to Bray this week, so yeah,
Don't
be
worry,
interesting.
that's no fans. Treaty United 2, Cove Ramblers 2, Ludden with 2 penalties. They were ahead in the game, Treaty, but then went 2-1 down. A Gorman OG and an Abbott goal. And once again, Cove Ramblers are getting the goals, Keith. Like, for a team so lowly in the league, they're scoring a lot of goals, but obviously conceding. It is a good point, though, to go to Treaty and get a result. Darragh Conlon was sent off as well with about 23 minutes to go. So that makes the point even better. And look, Treaty themselves will be a little bit disappointed, because even though Wexford got a good result in Cork, it still dropped points. So Treaty had a chance to get the 2 extra points, you know what I mean, in which they failed to do. So it's disappointing from their point of view, but from Cole's point of view, it's a good point, and especially with the red card.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I know Tommy Barrett came out and he says they have to start taking their chances. So he had a couple of chances in this game that you just couldn't take. So he'd be disappointed. Home draw, like you look to win your home games against teams that are either in and around you or below you. So he'd be very disappointed with that. Fair play to Cove. They're rocking on, 2 goals. They went dry for a couple of weeks, and now they're back in the goal. So I think we discussed it a few weeks ago. Cove are they just looking at the season and kind of a write-off as such now? They're probably not going to make playoffs, which would be an aim for a team of that caliber. So we'll see. It's like Treaty. If Treaty had a won at the weekend and Wexford only drew, they obviously put the pressure on Wexford and Bray, who were chasing them as well. So 2-2 draw, I'd say the Treaty fans are disappointed.
Yeah, they'll consider a drop points, I'm sure. Finished a lot on Saturday. Finished Longford 10-0, Waterford 3. Denison, did you see this, by the way?
I did, yeah.
Patterson 77, typical Patterson, and Cavan 90 minutes. I mean, look, the OG is an absolute killer, isn't it? Because it's 1-0 up to the 77th minute as well, and it's just a case of Luke takes his eye off the ball. It's very simple. He's looking to see what he's going to do next before he's control of the ball, and he's taking it for granted. But because he's so close to the goal line when he controls the ball, just rolls into the net. And look, it's kind of funny in a way, like, for everyone else watching, but for Longford and him, it's not funny at all. And look, it's just one of those strange things, and it does give Waterford a platform in the game, which to go on and win 3-0 in the end. And great win for them. They've won every game since Morris has lost the job. And obviously Gary Hunt. That's the question as well. We obviously talked about how Ian Ryan was tipped to the job, but you just wonder, Gary Hunt has won every game now. Like, do they need to go looking for another manager, do you think? Or is it just a case of, if he was given the manager till the end of the season, suddenly the players drop the performance? That can happen too. So look, it's up to Waterford, but you can't deny he's done well since he's been in control of the team there.
Yeah, it's about weighing up the options, really, isn't it? With Waterford, you've won. Is it 5 in a row they've won now?
You have, yeah, 5 in a row.
And they've scored a good few goals in that period as well. Defensively they've been okay. A lot. I know last week the 2 against Cove, but to me, the 5 wins in a row, in that league, it's good going. You know what I mean?
Many of them convincing, Keith, as well, weren't they? They've been convincing enough wins,
some impressive away wins as well. So, I don't know what the Waterford fans think about it. Maybe they can let us know, in the comments. But if it was me, if I was a Waterford fan and you've won 5 games in a row under a caretaker manager, I'd throw him in there, But you are right. It has happened at different clubs that when caretaker managers get the job on a full-time basis, and I'm going to go across the water here. You look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. When he was caretaker, he was fantastic, and then he got the job on a full-time basis, and caused problems. So, I don't know, but to go to Longford, Keith, and win 3-0, what a fantastic result! Terrible first goal, and I think that's the second time that has happened this season for Denison. And you're right, he was looking at his next pass, and he was wondering who's he going to pass it to, and he obviously just lost concentration. And then Patterson got his weekly goal. You know, I think we discussed off air that he's probably the player of the season in the first division. He probably is. So if he continues that form, Waterford and Cork and Galway will have to look out, because if Waterford come up against both of them clubs and they win both games, they're back in the hunt. They're really back in the hunt. So, really impressive win.
Pardon the pun. Back in the hunt. Moving on to Friday, then we'll set off for Bray Wanderers, as we didn't speak about them there, and they host Athlone Town, and there's no way in hell that Athlone are capable of going to the Carlin and winning, is there, Keith?
Stop trying to put words in my mouth.
But look, Bray, let's be honest, but Bray, to be fair as well, like we talked about Athlone bottom league 2 points, Bray have 13. Bray've only won 2 games all season. They're yet to win at home, Keith. It's not good. Yes, a run of a couple of wins can get them right back in that playoff mix. It's incredible. But
they have to do that, though. They have to get that win. I think they're 10 games without a win now, which isn't good form. So, and we need to get the best players back on the pitch. Your Cliffords, and Hughie Douglas has been out for a while, and Manley and Lebutis had exams a couple of weeks ago, so. Yeah. They'll be back. So you're really hoping that, like we said the first game of the season against Athlone, that Athlone hadn't got a point, and Bray surely go up to Athlone to get a win. They have to. I said on Twitter, with Treaty and Wexford dropping points last week, this game is absolutely crucial, and nothing other than 3 points will be acceptable. For everyone, for supporters, managers, players, they just have to go out and say, we're going to win this game and we're taking 3 points, and that hopefully then will kick them on, getting that home win, as you say, which is unbelievable, because Carlow used to be a bit of a fortress back in the day, and like teams seem to be just coming there and just some are destroying Bray in the Carlisle, like your Waterfords, your Corks, I know they're up there. But I don't know. Prediction wise, are you looking for a prediction?
I think we will. Yeah, go for it.
I'd be hoping for a Bray win. I'm going to go 2-0, but you just never know.
I'll go Bray as well, but I do think it'll be tight. I know there's a lot of games left, but psychologically, even they just have to win this, because if they don't win this, it just looks like they're not capable of putting a run together, which they'll have to do. So yeah. I think they'll win it. I do think they'll nick it. Cove Ramblers take on.
That means a draw.
Cove 0-0. Cove Ramblers take on Longford Town as well, and obviously Longford Town, when they come up against the big guns, they seem to be struggling and losing games, but they're kind of comfortably in the playoffs. But they're in no man's land this minute in time. It's 4 points off Waterford. I know it's not a big gap, but Waterford just look like they've gone one way, don't they? And they're 6 points out of Treaty. Cove have been scoring goals. I have a feeling. I think Cove might actually get at least a point from this game. Honestly, I just have this feeling. I think I'll go for a draw. I'll go for 1-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cove won this game at all either.
Yeah, it's Cove. Like, it's a tough place to go, Collins, and but on Longford, they and under when Gary was at Bray, apologies, we were a little bit inconsistent, and that seems to be happening with Longford this season. They beat Galway in Flanker Park, I was going to say, Bishopsgate, and then they've lost a couple of games, and a 3-0 loss against Waterford last week. You're looking at it like, Jesus, and Gary and his background team be looking at that and say, geez, normally we're tight at the back, and to concede 3 goals at home is not good either. So it's
I suppose the first goal, without having to go back too much, but the first goal they concede, there's not really much a manager can do there, is there?
There's not a lot. And then the other 2 goals were late enough, weren't they? So, it seemed like a tight game, but 3-0, if someone hasn't seen the highlights or whatever, you're looking at 3-0 and say, oh geez, Waterford played them off the park. But I don't know, Longford go down there, they have to get a win. I think if they're gonna, I say that, but what are they going for? They're probably not going to catch Cork and Galway. I'd be nearly 100% sure they're not going to catch them. And Waterford have 5 wins in a row, so they've kind of stretched a little bit. Like, so, are they just playing it out, happy enough for the rest of the season, And we mentioned Darren Craven a few times. People are probably sick of me saying it, but he seems to be the link that they're missing now with his injury. So I am going to go for probably, I don't think Cove will get a draw. I think it'll be 1-2.
Waterford take on Treaty at the RSC, an opportunity to Waterford to go 6 wins on the bounce. You'd have to fancy them. They're scoring, they're free flowing at the moment. Patterson is most of the goals. We discussed them there. We think personally that he's the player of the season so far in the whole league, individually anyway. And just seem to be going well. I mean, the football apparently that they're playing is better as well. It's a better style to it. And as I said, Hunt was doing well there. Treaty can be dogged, but I do think they've lost something, an edge in the last couple of weeks, Treaty as well. And they're definitely conceding more goals than they're used to. It's difficult to see that not continuing at the RSC, I think.
I agree, 100%. I think Waterford will win this game. I was speaking to a Treaty mate of mine, and the Treaty are without, I'm not sure how many games without a win, but they're struggling at the moment. They really are.
They've gone 5 Waterford, definitely without a win anyway. At least 5.
At least,
for sure.
Yeah.
At least,
yeah. It's not good form at all, and I know it's not the worst form in the division, but Waterford are flying, and I'm not sure what the crowds are like in Waterford at the moment, but with the wins they've had and 5 in a row, they might be getting a crowd behind them. So it's going to be tough for Treaty. Although if Tommy Barrett sets them up with 2 banks of 4 and then striker up top, they are a tough side to break down sometimes, but Waterford have the players, don't they? Like Junior, although he's been off the boil a little bit lately. Phoenix Patterson, if he gets on the ball. And a couple of their goals of late have been from range as well. So Treaty will have to ensure that they kind of break them down or close them down as such to prevent them taking shots at goal, because they seem to be scoring from all angles. I'm going to go for probably a 2-0 win for Waterford. I don't want to say 3 or 4, but 2-0, I think.
I've got 3-1 myself. I know the game of the weekend, it's fair to say Galway United and Cork City at DC Park. The last time they met, Galway actually went to Turner's Cross and won 1-0. Cork's only defeat of the season. In many ways, it's obviously a test for both sides, but you just feel like it's a massive test for Cork now, because suddenly, for the first time really, they're behind Galway in the league. They're going to go to a packed game in DC Park. This is going to be a serious test of Cork's mettle. If Cork can even go there and get a point, I think it's kind of job done for them in many ways, you know what I mean? But if Galway were to win, like they're 5 clear, and suddenly you're kind of looking at it going, can Cork actually catch these? How are you seeing this one? It's a big game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. And I do a little predictions league, and I think I back 2-2 here. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, because both teams score goals. And I know both teams defensively are good, but both teams have the firepower to definitely score goals. And like, Jesus, if RTE had any sense, this would be the game of the weekend to show, wouldn't it though? Like, DC Park's going to be packed. Cork are going to bring a good crowd with them. So I think you're right. I think if Cork go there and get a draw, they're still within touching distance of Galway. So a draw coming back from DC, they won't be worried about that. But definitely,
psychologically, nothing lost as well,
Absolutely, 100%. But if Galway do get that win, they edge 3 more points ahead and 5 ahead. I know we keep saying it, Keith, though, there's still a long way to go. You have to realise that teams are playing each other a lot of games. So someone's going clear of someone, but there's still a long way to go in this league. And Cork will go there and they will put it up to Galway. Galway are more physical, obviously.
Yeah.
So if Cork can get their better players like Murphy on the ball, I don't know if James Duna will play. He doesn't seem to be getting a look in there.
Bulger as well, I think, is important. But that midfield battle could be very important. I think Galway are a bit more physical in midfield though as well, with Hurley and McCormick and players like that.
If you compare Bulger and Hurley, You know, look at Hurley compared to Bulger. You know, he's massive. He's absolutely massive. You know, and
he's mobile,
you know,
as well. Like, he can get around the pitch early. Like, he's not like
absolutely. I don't know who he reminds me of, and you already mentioned McCormick. You know, McCormick's probably one of the best players in the league. You know, he has that Premier Division experience. So, draw for me, Keith. 2-2.
You're going for 2-2. Another point before we finish up as well, I was going to make is that the worry about for these two teams is whoever finishes second, because I think one of them will finish second. Waterford probably won't quite catch them. You never know, but the worry is that they finish second, and suddenly you're in the playoffs, and you know suddenly the pressure is on you big time. So both teams really will go all out to win the league. There almost might be a disappointment for the team that doesn't win the league, and that's the concern going into playoffs later on, isn't it?
Yeah, playoffs are lottery. Galway finished, I think it was 15 points ahead of us last season, and we beat them in the playoffs. Like, so, and then the year before that, Longford Town. Who would have thought Longford Town would go? You know, beating Shelbourne in
even UCD.
UCD as well. You know, although they played us off the park in Dalymount, so they well deserved to beat us.
Yeah.
And then to go and play Waterford, who were a strong enough team at the time, but. Like, yeah, you're right. Caulfield won't want to play off this year. He's had two already, and he definitely won't want to play off. But in saying that, I think they're stronger this year than they were last year, and I 100%. Think they'd have more about them. So if they were in the playoff, the only worry is you get to a playoff final, you're probably going to play Finn Harps, and Finn Harps always cut the mustard in the playoffs.
Interesting. I think I'm going to go for Galway to nick this 1-0. Gavin mightn't be too happy, but there you go. We'll leave it there, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks as always, Keith. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit your bell notification button so you don't miss a video. And thanks for watching once again.